try not to laugh. Right. Okay, so Ben Habib did a 2-hour interview with Liam Tufts. No idea who he is, but Ben Habib has announced his new party, Advance UK, which is a little bit like UKIP, a little bit like Reform, but like better. So let's get into the interview because I was laughing a lot. This is really funny. So entertainment. Let's get straight into it.
What have you got in common with them?
What have I got in common? A love of the country. I don't think I need to have walked the walk that they've walked in order to have the same love of the country, to understand what's required to be done in order to save the country. I have a deep love of this country.
I don't think that's true. I think if you really truly want to make the UK better, I think you need to have worked a minimum wage job. I think you need to have struggled to pay bills, pay the rent, pay your mortgage, work an 8-hour shift where it's tedious, your boss doesn't appreciate you, you're underpaid, you get treated like shit. I think that's a key component of actually understanding the working person. And if he doesn't have that, which by his own admission he doesn't, like, you will never understand why graft, labour, makes the world go round. It's the labour that creates the value in capitalism. Already, it's like this guy has no idea, just no idea how people live.
If you were, I know I'm half Pakistani, my skin is brown, but if you were to cut my veins, I think I would bleed red, white, and blue, and that's it. And can I just make a distinction, by the way?
That is such a non-answer. Like, this is their new guy as well. This is really strange because Farage would be like, well, Western values, democracy, freedom of speech, the culture, the rich heritage and history of the UK. Like, we have created so much. Like, he'd probably actually give quite a good answer. Like, it would be a lot of nationalistic kind of fluff, but he would actually, but you cut me and I bleed red, white, and blue. That is the worst answer I think I've ever heard. That is bad on so many levels.
When I say working class, I mean working class. I don't mean people who are playing the benefit system. You know, I think we've got to be clear. Starmer makes the mistake of thinking that when he represents, and there are a lot of people who are on benefits, shouldn't be on benefit.
Yeah, Keir Starmer just represents like everybody who voted for him. Like, and just to make it clear, if I get into power, these people will be deported, maybe gone, maybe put in a camp. Just they're not people to me. This is he's a nice guy, isn't he?
He thinks when he's representing them, he's representing the working class. He's not. The working class are people who are working, who want to work, and it's critical for the prosperity of the country that the working class do.
No idea how people actually live their lives. Like, by his own admission, like, he's not walked in the shoes of a working class person. Like, completely out of touch. Insane.
Well, I mean, if you haven't got the ability for the working class, just let's do economics for a second. If the working class can't, through their own endeavours, move through the social stratas, enrich themselves, and make sure that their children have a future that, if they can't have aspiration, if they can't wake up every morning thinking the future is bright, the future for their children is bright, they won't work. They'll be dumbed down into submission. And that's what's happening with the British people. And if we're all dumbed down, if the working middle classes are dumbed down into submission, the economy of the United Kingdom will fail. And that's where we're at. And we'll all fail. Even people who are at the top, the top 1%, the top 2% of the wealth in this country, they will suffer. The working middle class have to do well.
Will they? The top 1%? The millionaires and billionaires will suffer? To an extent, yes. Inequality affects everyone. Crime, social instability, it does impact people. But I think they're doing okay. I think Ben Habib is doing okay. He's obviously in the top 5%. He's a very wealthy man. And these are just non-answers. Yeah, people, what are you going to do? Yes, people want to wake up and have a bright future. But he's a capitalist. The system is done. How are you going to bring jobs into the UK? We don't make anything. We're not going to all of a sudden start producing stuff. We can't be as competitive as India, Southeast Asia, China, Taiwan. Are we going to do chips? Like, we need to actually come up with a way to either challenge the economic paradigm, which we kind of did. Neoliberalism came from Thatcher and Reagan, from Hayek and other academics, Milton Friedman, etc. Or, like, what is the other option? Like, what options is there? There has to be a radical paradigm shift in the economy. Capitalism is dead, like, in its current form. Well, it's more complicated than that, but
The country has to do well for the rich to do well. We're all in this together.
Would you say you were
where have I heard that phrase before? Answers on a postcard.
streetwise?
I'm probably naive.
That is the best answer I've ever heard from a politician ever. And I'm going to put that on record now. Do you know why?
Why?
You didn't try and bullshit me.
Yeah.
That was
the weakest answer. Naive. You want a leader to be naive? You want the leader of the country to be a naive person? No, you want them to be informed, pragmatic, actually have answers to questions, know how the system works, know where the real problems are, and then have solutions. Know where you can actually make change and know your limits. Like, I'm naive. Great. Great if you're a philosopher, the undergraduate degree. Yes, ask naive questions about the universe. That's a good answer? Really? He's streetwise. Just say you're streetwise. Yeah, I'm streetwise. I know people. I know how people are. I know how people operate. And I know how to change this country. Like, at least try and come up with an answer. Like, oh, I'm naive. I'm a cook. Like, I'm a liar. I'm a cheat. I'm a thief. That is the best answer. It's like a David Brent. Oh.
real nice answer. And if people don't appreciate that honesty, then they're missing a trick because we're sick of being lied to. So, and that follows on nicely to my
I would just use this against him. Like, but that's a bit naive, Ben. Like, that's good ammunition. Like, Ben, I think you're being naive. I think this is the most naive policy. You're naive. Are you still naive, Ben?
next question that I've got in mind. So, by your own admission, you've not been brought up on the streets on a rough council estate, potentially getting jumped on the street corner, getting a glass shoved in your face in the local pub, like living in.
He's a proud working class guy. That's what working class people do. We glass each other. That's what we do. You know.
No, I haven't done
absolute poverty.
See, he's not even working. Like, how can we have representation when he's not done that?
And just a horrible way of life that you're born into. You can't help, and you've got to deal with what surrounds you. Very tough. And if you haven't been born into that, you can't understand it, and you can't be blamed for not understanding it. So here's the thing: by your own admission, you're not streetwise. Would you?
I think you can understand. I mean, this weird, like, hyperbolic, exaggerated version of working class life. I think you can understand it. I think you can understand the struggles of working class people, like, without having grown up in that way. You just go, okay, what were your struggles? Well, wages. Oh, okay. Do you want to increase wages, Ben? I mean, buying a house, like, tangible solutions. Have you got policies? Like, I would like to see what policies he actually has. Like, maybe in the future there'll be a manifesto. What are these policies going to be? Like, concrete policies that would help the working class, help businesses in the UK, help investment for the future. Like, because he just goes on about immigration. That's all he really has. I think he is just a one-trick pony.
You employ or take on or recruit an advisor that was politically savvy and streetwise, So
Yeah,
you get
of
to see the
course.
world through their eyes.
Of course, you have to. You have to understand it as best you can.
But does anybody else do that?
Well, I don't know whether they do or not.
I've not seen it.
No, but that's why I say you need a team of Hercules. That's why I
To be fair, that's actually a good point. I don't know who this guy is, but that is actually a good point. Like, that should be something where, like, well, I think maybe you just have politicians that actually have lived life and worked. Like, there are a few working class politicians, like normal people in the Labour Party. They're not doing very well, but at least they have had some life experience. But, like, yeah, we need that should be an emphasis. Like, actually, people who represent us, and obviously he doesn't. Ben Habib does not represent the average British person. He just doesn't.
don't. We haven't talked about the structure of my party, but you have the members. I'll just briefly talk about the structure of this new party. So we have the members, but above the members, elected by the members, we have something called a college, and the college includes people who are not taking a shilling from the party, so that they're in it because they believe in it. A lot of political interests are skewed by
Not pay people. Great. Great. He cares about the working class. Just don't pay people. Okay? Just do it for free. Free labour.
taking money from parties or from through their elected office or whatever. The college will be people who are not paid by the party, do not hold office. They're just there because they are these brave, capable, fearless people that
Yeah, but who would be able to do that, though? It'd only be wealthy people who will be able to not be paid for that role. So you're going to have, like, business leaders, head fund managers, maybe, like, so it's not going to be representative of the people, is it? Really? If people are not getting paid for their role, who can afford to do that? Like, your working class, average advanced UK voter won't be able to do that, surely.
we need in order to keep the party philosophically, on the straight and narrow, and that the leadership and the executive actually do what they're meant to be doing. And that body of
Yeah, but okay, that sounds good, but the tendency on the far right is like, yes, you want that ideological on the straight and narrow, but when you've got quite radical people in your kind of, I'd say the kind of radical flank of reform and the kind of far right in the UK who want remigration, they want mass deportation, they want kind of quite drastic rolling back of the ECRH. They want some pretty radical things, and you're going to have people who, when they realize, oh, we want to get votes, we have to appeal to people, because again, they're going to split the vote. Maybe we do have to lie a little bit to seem like, oh yeah, we're not far right. We don't want remigration. We don't want mass deportations. We don't want to get rid of human rights. We just love our country. And then they'll come up with like, okay, yeah, like you're too blatant with your fascism. And that's why Nigel Farage, why wouldn't you just stick with Nigel Farage? Be pragmatic. Like, this is doomed to failure. Obviously, they're not going to get votes. It's going to split the party pretty much 50-50. So the 2 million people who voted for Farage last time are going to vote. You're going to get 2 million votes, maybe 1 million, 2 million votes. They will. And then Farage is going to get maybe 2, 3 more, maybe 1 more million, or maybe less even now. Like, even you've got split between UKIP. Like, what the fuck is this doing? Like, he is naive. Like, he is a naive person. This is one thing Farage knows is politics. He's been doing this a long time. It's not the same as business. You actually have to win votes. It's about winning votes. Farage is very good at that. Ben Habib, what the fuck are you doing? Seriously, like, this guy's an idiot.
people will work with the leadership to create the policies that are required in order to deliver our vision, and then the acts of parliament, etc., that need to be drafted in order to enact it. That body of people will be drawn on from all parts of the United Kingdom, and so I mean, for example, I don't think I'm breaching your confidence because this is all going to be made public. But David Rhodes is a member of our college, and Paul Thorpe is a member of our college. I mean, Paul, I think, would to any individual looks, feels, and behaves like a working class guy. And it doesn't matter to me, you know, which side of the tracks you came from. What matters?
It is all aesthetics, isn't it? Like, working class guy, like, what does that mean? It just means you work for a living. Most people work for a living. Even if you're middle class, yes, you earn more. Also, Paul Thorpe isn't working class. He's doing okay. He's probably middle class financially. He may like LARP as a working class guy, but he's doing quite well off his fans.
Matters to me is that you're bright, capable, hardworking, committed to this. This is for the college. Committed to this country, share the vision that we share in the party, and you're fearless. That's what I want.
Let's talk about a few policies
Yeah.
for Advanced UK. So have you got a migration policy?
So the policies are going to be made.
Oh no, we haven't thought about that. A what policy? Forgot my favorite. Oh no. Oh yeah, we should get on that. Note that down, Tracy. Have we got a migration policy? What? No, we're interested in like building the economy and hope for the future. Investment in jobs. We're gonna deal with climate change. We're gonna deal with automation, AI. We're gonna deal with the fact that like you can't afford a house and the NHS and stagnating wages and lack of social mobility and depression, mental health issues, the fact that people are feeling isolated, lonely, atomized. There's no like social places to go. We want to build youth clubs. We want to build like, bring back pubs, bring back the British pub. We're going to invest in the British pub. We're going to bring it back. We're going to bring people together, communities together. No, migration policy.
Once we have the whole college up and running. We haven't made policies yet. Okay? This is something that, again,
just have a give. Oh, okay, I'll let him finish. To be fair, let's let him hear what he says.
think reform gets slightly wrong because they just come out with policies without having discussed it with anyone. But I can tell you
No, Nigel Farage comes up with the policies. He does. Like, not very good policies. But like, you have to have it. If you've launched a party, I think you have to launch fairly strong. Like, yeah, okay, you can say, at least have a preliminary, right? This is our focus. We got a 5-point thing, whatever. Like, but you have to have a policy already because, like, what is your migration policy? You've got a party. Like, what is it? Because that is obviously your number one priority. What is it? Like, what is your priority? That's a basic question he should know the answer to. And it's naive that he doesn't have an answer to that. We're going to end there because this is 2 hours long. I could do more. It's going to be a long video. No one's going to watch this video. If you did, join the membership from 99 pence a month. Join for a bit more, $2.99, if you appreciate my work. Go and watch this video if you want to have a laugh. Watch it with your friends, get a few beers around, popcorn, and have yourself a good old time. Subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.